Well, hey, haven't seen you there. Just waiting for story time with Raven. Well, it happened. Okay, so as you know from title, today's story is going to be about my first Pokemon pre-release. Because pre-releases are common, right? Like pre-releases are. Wait, I need to. Yeah. So pre-releases are coming. Like Lost Thunder is right about the corner, so like 2-3 weeks from the pre-releases. So I decided to talk about my first experience on the Pokemon pre-release. In the future video, I'm going to talk about Magic pre-releases, Magic Grand Prix, the competitive scene in Magic. But this is Pokemon, right? Like this is Pokemon couple, so let's talk about that. So my first ever Pokemon pre-release that I've attended to was Celestial Storm. So the last set that I just came from work. That's a little bit tired, but okay. So it was during the summer. It was fantastic. We've went 2.5 hour or hour and a half, depending by car or couch. But we went by couch, so it's hour and a half, right with Kovac. So we've ride there. Like we didn't know what to expect. Like we never been to the place. We never, been into Dragonus because that's the store name. We never been into that shop to play, and we didn't know what to expect. Like Kovac, that was her first ever pre-release in any card game, so she was scared shitless. I shouldn't swear, but she was scared. Like she had the butterflies in her stomach. Like I went as like, I've been to many pre-releases. Like I know stuff, right? Like I know shit. So I went with this like, okay, at least I'm gonna top eight the pre-release. While Kovac just wanted to play. So we went by a couch. During the couch, like what I was reading a comic book, probably Green Lantern or something, because we've bought a few days before that a few comic books. They came, but that's not the story. So uh, we ended up, like drinking some coffee. We have our coffee cups, and we're going to the store to Dragonus, which is like I would say like 20-15 minutes walk from the train station, the couch station, or bus station, whatever you want to call it. So we're like, okay, we're gonna take a walk. So we're entering, and it was like 30, 32 Celsius, so it was hot as hell. Like you can imagine how hot it is. So we're going into the store, and the store is really small. Like I would say it can hold like 30 people tops, and 30 people like we enter and it was like steamy as hell. I'm like, oh, okay, if this is gonna be a full pre-release full of people, we are gonna die here. Like, well, if I'm gonna die because of the steam, because of the temperature, I must well die here. Okay, so we've sat down on a table, like next to the table, on a chair. Like not on a table. You never sit on a table on a pre-release. So we've sat down. Kovac's getting more stressed, and I'm like, I've put my playmat down, which was like one of the Grand Prix that I've played with Magic, and Kovac has her purple, and she's looking at me like, hey, like, I know you have your own mat, but and I have my own, but can we change? And I'm looking at her, and like I see this, basically scared face. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, we're gonna change the playmats. So after like 2, 4, 5 people came, and you can clearly tell that they were Pokemon players, like with Nintendo Switches. They all knew each other. We were the outsiders, right? Like we were the people that they didn't know. Like no one said like hello, nothing to us. And like we see that upstairs, because the store has like an upstairs little thing. They're preparing Yu-Gi-Oh pre-release, because at the same day there was a Yu-Gi-Oh pre-release, and there were like 2 people playing or 4 people playing the Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. And I'm like, oh cool, the Yu-Gi-Oh scene is alive in my country, like it exists, right? So we sit, and the woman behind the counter, like the owner of the store, is like, hey, you can register for the pre-release. So we go, like we tell her everything. We tell her our numbers. She said the price, which in my country is 100 PLN, so it's about 28 dollars or 25 euros, basically, right? To give you a perspective, something like that, like maybe less, maybe more, I don't know, like I don't have a calculator in my head. So we go back, we sit down, and we see the people are to the left, because entries on my right, people are sitting there on the left. It's getting more and more hot, and I see, like, when I stood up, like actually I left my ass mark on a chair. I'm like, oh, It's been like 20 minutes and I'm leaving S marks. Damn, this is gonna be fun. But okay, so the more and more people come, not really not everyone is saying hi to us. Like basically one maybe person said like, hey, how you doing? You're new here. We're like, yeah, we're new. But everyone was like, in their closed friends, like, circle. So they're like trading cards. They are, like looking at the binders. And I'm a shy person if when I'm in a new place. Like you may, yeah, I know you feel like I'm not a shy person, but I am. And I'm like, okay, so we're just gonna sit and wait. Then the organizer come, and actually he sees us, because it's he, not she, it's he. Fantastic guy. I can't remember his name. I'm bad at names. So he comes and he's like, hey, you're new here. I'm like, yeah, we're new. He's looking at the playmat. I'm like, oh, a Magic Gathering. I'm like, yeah, I was playing competitively. And he sat down with us and actually like talked with us. And a really nice guy. He was like, yeah, if that's your first release, don't stress out. It's gonna be fine. Do you know what you get from the release? And I'm like, yeah, we get this package. We're gonna open. We're gonna build a deck. And he's like, yeah, do you know how to build a deck? I'm like, dude. Of course I know how to build a deck, said Raven confidently. Which was a lie at the time. But it didn't matter. I looked professional doing that. And Kovac said like, yeah, sure, we know. So that was the second lie. I was like, yeah, cool. So, around like 30 minutes in, the store like actually opens, right? Like, they say like it actually opened. So all the registering is done, it's finished. There are like 28 players inside, and I mean, like, there were like 6 from a junior division and the rest is senior division. The people are like my age, so 26 above, right? And few are like 21, 22. So we're like, oh, can we open the windows? Because it's so freaking steamy inside. Like, it's 32 outside. Inside is like million. At least for me, that was like a million. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna die. That was my mantra throughout those 30 minutes. And, they opened the door. They opened all the windows. And like, okay, is everyone ready? I'm like, yeah. Everyone's like, yes. And I told, there are 2 kids like sitting next to us. Because the tables are for like, for 4 people. So, 2 kids are sitting there. And I'm like, okay, I need to pull Mr. Mime. Just because it's going to be fun on pre-release. So, we get our pre-release kits. I open the first pack, nothing. Like, really nothing. Second pack, nothing. Third pack, Kovac opens her third pack. Full art Epicon Maker. Like, she flips out. Like, yeah! And I'm looking at her. I'm like, okay. It's fine, Raven, it's fine. You only need Mr. Mime. The last pack, opening it. I'm like, oh yes, full art Mr. Mime. Yes, pre-release is mine. So, it was time to build our deck. We got like 30 minutes to build our decks. And to those who don't know how pre-release kit works in Pokemon, because in Magic it works differently, because you have, I remember, 6 boosters and you build from that. In Pokemon you have 4 boosters. And you've got this little, you can call it a theme deck, like this little deck that is themed as your promo card. So if you had like, water type promo card, you've got this like water type kind of deck-ish inside for, so it was like Swampert or, something else, or Manectric was the second one actually. So almost like, theme decks, right? So it's easier for you to build, because Pokemon is a lot harder to build from only boosters. And especially if you only have 4, right? Like, that would be, wow, that would be stupid, because you would not have the evolution chains. And this little deck gives you. And I remember my pre-release promo was Kyogre, and Kovac was Manectric, I believe. Manectric, yeah. So we're like, cool, we both got cards that we wanted. She wanted a full art, and Manectric, she got it. I wanted Mr. Mime, got my full art, and I got Kyogre, which was like, okay. So we started to build our deck. Like, I'm going through my cards, and I'm looking at that I have at least, like 20 water type cards, like, 5 of each other type, and maybe 7, 8 of psychic. I'm like, okay. And I'm looking at those cards, and none of those cards are good. Like, okay, there's a Swampert and the full chain. I'm like, okay, this is nice. I can build around that. Kyogre, okay, so we got something, you know. And then I'm like, what can I add? So I decided, like, you know what, we've got Mr. Mime. Like, I have no idea how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna add Mr. Mime to the deck. And thank God I had, like, 8 psychic cards. It's like Pokemon. So I'm like, okay, I can do it. So I think that was Gulpin. I think I had 2 Gulpins. Basically, I don't remember if that's an evolution or not. Basically, the card said that one of your opponent Pokemons forget their move, right? That was one of the attacks, which was fantastic. And like 5 minutes passes, I've built my deck. It's all sleeved, everything fine, and I'm looking across the table at Kovac, and she's building a freaking nice electric type deck. She's got all the cards. So I'm like, ooh, okay. And I'm gonna stop here, because if I would have the same experience that I have now, I wouldn't play some cards, and especially for Kovac, like I wouldn't, if I were her, I wouldn't play some of cards she played. Like I would told her that, hey, those cards are not gonna work, or you have to really look out, or I would tell her certain stuff. But at the time, that was my first Pokemon release, and especially that was like first release of a set of Pokemon since second base set, actually, for me, right? Because we've barely missed, like for a week we missed Forbidden Light when we came back to Pokemon. So Celestial Storm was the thing. I know I'm playing with this, I'm toying, sorry. And so I knew that it's the first time that we actually are doing the Pokemon release, and even though I've looked at the set, I was not as into the Pokemon TCG as I'm right now as a streamer, right? So I haven't played that much. I didn't know all the techniques. Like all I've played to that point was theme decks, not even a standard deck. Like we didn't have a standard deck, I believe, at that point. Kovac probably did, because we built for her, like Lycanroc or something. But I didn't have, like, I had my Empoleon, and that was it. That was the theme deck. So all my experience going into pre-release was only her, playing against her, playing some of the Pokemon TCGO, and playing freaking team decks. Because even in Pokemon TCGO, I didn't had any deck. Like basically, I was playing the team decks, and Empoleon one. Then I later gradually played other decks like Max Strike, and then went to play something else. But going back to the story, we're like, okay, oh shit. We're like, okay, we've got our decks built. We've got everything. I can be your father, Raven. No, you can't. I can be your father. No, you can't. Okay. So, it's time for round 1. And before the pre-release started, like, the organizer came and was like, hey guys, to be the whole thing non-competitive, to keep it clean, everyone's gonna get 3 booster packs at the end of the tournament. It doesn't matter what place you're gonna get. It doesn't matter if you're gonna win the pre-release or you're gonna be dead last. You're gonna have three packs. Is that okay? And everyone said, like, it's fine, it's perfect. And that's gonna, like, I'm telling this because that's gonna be important in, like, on round 3. Yeah, on round 3 this is gonna be important. So round 1, I have no idea. Yeah, okay. So imagine this. It was our first pre-release ever, and the pairings are randomly, right? Like, pairings are random, so we had no control over it. And so the pairings are up on the wall as usual, and I look at them. Like, I didn't have glasses, so I was like, I was blind like a bat. So I'm like, Kovac, can you tell me who I'm playing? Because I forgot my glasses. Never gonna happen again. I'm never gonna forget my glasses to pre-release. And if you're wearing glasses, never forget your freaking glasses to a pre-release or a tournament. No, but coming back. So she's looking at me and she's like, it can't be right. I'm like, what's happening? She like sat down. I'm like, can you tell me who I'm playing? Because I have to wait. Well, this is gonna look odd now. Shit. So I'm like, who am I playing? Because I really want to know. Because the round starts in like a minute or so, and I have to change my seat. And she's like, no, you're playing me. So the first ever tournament play in Pokemon that I played against Kovac, and that is something you can't replicate. It's something that you couldn't make up, and that was fantastic. Like especially for her, because she was all stressed out. Like she didn't know how it's gonna look like. She didn't know nothing. And actually, the organizer of the tournament was playing like here, like next to me, like on my right side. So if I wanted to ask him something, and he's like level 2 judge or whatever, I know I could have count on him. So I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, that's what we're gonna do. So the first round, like we do the mulligans, right? We do everything. I put my first card down. She puts her first card down. And I see something that I never seen in Magic, which really was weird to me and interesting, and I loved that. Before game started, everyone does that. Hey, good luck. Like the handshake. I'm like, they are so fucking nice. They are doing the handshake. This is so cool. And I look at Kovac, she's looking at me like, she doesn't know what's happening because she saw many Magic tournaments in her store that she worked previously. And I've been to many Magic tournaments, to many Grand Prix, and I'm looking at like something from outer space just came like wow. So I shake her hand. 30 seconds into the round, I'm losing 1-0 to Kovac. Like I think that was something that she needed. I think this quick win was something that helped her a lot as a player, as a Pokemon trainer, and as a person. And that was not intentional by me. Like I wanted, when I'm playing anyone, and especially Kovac, like my idea is to crush my opponent. When we're playing physically, like the physical Pokemon, I want to crush my opponents, and that's what I always tell her. Like, if you win against me, that's an actual win, because I will never, not play something just for you to win, because that's how I am. I was raised. If you want to win against me, if you want to, earn something, so far I can earn that, you have to win. You have to actually win. So it's 1-0, and I'm looking at my deck. I'm like, wow, because I didn't draw any energy, nothing. Like I had Pokemons, but no energy. I'm like, I've put, and I don't remember how many, like 13. I don't remember how many energy there was. I have no idea. I have to remind myself how many energy you put in the deck, because there's 40 cards inside. So I think I've put like 10, 11. I don't remember. But I'm like, I have that many energy and I'm not drawing any of it. So I'm shuffling my deck, before the second round. She's happy, she is having time of her freaking life. And I'm like thinking hard, like, I can't lose my first game to a Kovac. Like it's not that she's a bad player, I love her to that, but my inner competitive player said, like, I can't lose to her. Like I can't lose. Like in general, I want to top 8, so I can't lose my first game. If I wanted to succeed and want to top 8, I want to have a smooth run. I want to win. So the second game starts. After another few seconds, I win. She didn't draw anything. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting turn of event. So we are 1-1. There's like, we're again shuffling. We're talking. We're having fun. We're having a great time. And I think this is going to be a 2-part video. So we're talking, we're having fun, and the judge says that there's 15 minutes left in the round. I'm like, okay, cool. Like 15 minutes is plenty of time for everything. So we're shuffling decks, and we started playing. And that was the matchup that I didn't expect that's going to happen. Like it was back and forth, really back and forth. And in the one crucial turn, there was one turn that she forgot to count how many prize cards I have. She was certain that I have 3 or I have 2 and I had only 1. I don't know if she didn't look at it or not. I attacked, I win my first win on the pre-release, and it was almost in almost or not, like I think it was turn 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you know what I'm talking about, because I forgot how you call it, but yeah, like we were counting turns because it was we're out of time. So it was a fantastic game. I think that was a fantastic entry to a pre-release. And in general, like in a perspective, because it was 2 months ago, in a perspective, that was really interesting entry for her, especially as a player to a competitive scene, and a fantastic entry to competitive Pokemon, especially. Not even playing physically with people you don't know, and being scared, intimidated by those people, because you see people like having the freaking old energy that's hollow, hollow, reverse hollow, or anything. It's intimidating. And I think the first game, even though she lost like 2-1, right? It was fantastic for her. That was fantastic to me. The game was perfect. The one thing that kind of pissed me off, and I told the guy, like, after the game, I have to went outside. It was so steamy. It was so hot. I went outside for a fresh air, and there was this guy that came, like he was like 40 or something, and he comes and he's like, "You should have let her win." I'm like, "Why?" Because she's your fiance. I'm like, and I don't care. Like, she knows that if she wants to win, she has to win. And I explained it to guy, because if I would give her a win, she wouldn't be as happy as she would actually win against me. And I know when she's winning against me, like she is smearing this all over my face. But that's actually generally that she is becoming a better player, because you have to push each other. And I'm explaining this to a guy, and she's like, "But you're not gonna get laid tonight." I'm like, "Fuck off, dude! Like, you're not gonna get laid. Screw you, dude! Like, who the hell are you to tell me that, right?" Like, I know I've kind of acted like a jerk, but I told the guy, like, "Hey, come on." And I think he thought that even though since like she's not gonna play competitive, or she's not gonna be a player whatsoever, which is kind of a misconception, but I get where it come from, because there's like only one other girl out of 38 people playing the pre-release, or 25. I don't remember the correct number, but it was the biggest pre-release they had in the store. So I get why he could have said something like that. So I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, dude. And I enter. No, she came out to me, and I asked her, like, "Hey, would you feel better if I would let you win? Because that's your first pre-release." And she almost slapped me. No, right? Like, I felt bad. Like, I genuinely felt bad for her, and I was like, "Oh my god, she's gonna get discouraged." Like, the guy was right. And it's like, no, dude, no, Arthur, Raven, listen. That's great that you didn't let me win, because even though I'm gonna be paired more to the bottom, I've learned something. I can now become a better player, and I think that is the most important part, and the most important thing that she grabbed and caught from our first game. And if you want to, yeah, we're gonna talk about our second, third, fourth game and the finish of this pre-release in Dragonus for Celestial Storm in another part of this video, because this is getting long history. Like I told you, I have freaking stories that we're gonna talk. So see you guys in the second part. Love ya.